I'm sitting in this hot bath, because some might say TMI, but one of the characteristics of ADHD is oversharing. So I have this large boil on my butt crack. No, this is not the one that's a cyst growing near the tailbone, right? But this is just a huge pimple, ingrown hair. So one of the ways is to use hot press. You could use like a salve, but either way, it takes time, right? For your body to either soften the skin so it can release naturally, or I might have to go see a dermatologist and cut it open and squeeze it out. But as I sit here, having good conversation with Scottish allies of John Davidson Instagram, I have also commented, on John Davidson's page. Whether he see my comment or not, it's okay, because I know he is deeply hurt. That the British colonists did a lot of divisive things, did a lot of these divisive actions worldwide. Most of the conflicts we see right now all over the world, whether it's Pakistan, Haiti, and India, the Middle East, the entire Israeli and Gaza, Palestinian-Israeli war, a lot of this division were all manufactured by the British colonists, which was why George Washington, the first president of the US, when he departed, one of the warnings he gave was, watch out for American exceptionalism. We don't want to behave like who we rebel from, the British imperialists, the British colonists, who think they're the best, they're the greatest, they don't make mistakes, they have the most moral, they have the most human value, they have all the best. They're immune to any of the negativity, any of the sins of the world. And if there are, it's your fault, right? Unfortunately, as an American, I must say, whenever I'm high on my American idealism, especially when I'm on other cultures' platforms, such as the Little Red Book, which is pure Chinese. I got laughed at, by people in China or people from the old worlds. Most part of the old worlds, while America was the first to become this great democratic country, they were all still feudal. Their feudal dynasties go back for millennia. But the irony of America's democracy is that even though America founded democracy, yet it's not democratic, especially slavery. America couldn't abolish slavery. They kept the very distinct colonial behavior. They kept slavery while praising ourselves as being democratic, as being the best. And really, man, through this entire event, I'm also seeing this. Feels kind of like, almost like the Free Palestine movement, right? We have the term anti-Semitism being misused, right? We have people criticizing the fascist behavior of the Israeli government, right? Those who commit the action of Zionist exceptionalism. But that don't mean everyone. Yet some of the defense you get is that Holocaust, Jewish people have had more suffering than the Palestinians. But if we only compare suffering, when is it going to end? And also, here's the hard truth here, right? A lot of this suffering from the old world may go beyond transatlantic slavery, whether it's the 1500s in the Caribbean or the 1600s codification in America. Because like I said, the old worlds have had feudal dynasties, heaven mandate monarchies. People are put into caste systems. There may not be American systemic racism in the old world, but there has always been classism. Ask any economist to talk about the situation we're in right now. They don't like to use the left-right because the left-right fight, us versus them, is really created by those on the top oppressing those on the bottom. Because capitalism is the direct descent of feudalism. So those on the top keeping all the profit, in order to control their profit, they control the people on the bottom, make them fight in this left and right spectrum. So if we, I besides Tourette syndrome, I'm also diagnosed with ADHD, OCD, general anxiety, and depression. One of the things depression does is that the depression will keep your mind in this false narrative of a comfort zone, right? I may purposely sabotage myself by not showing up at an event. I create imaginary scenarios where people are all gonna hate me at this party for something I do, something I say. Therefore, I'm not gonna go. But actually, this party could be very inclusive, could be very helpful. But I fail to see it because I don't want to come out of this comfort zone that I created for myself. And this is the biggest problem of people having depression. They feel not so depressed. They feel comfortable and happy, stuck in their own comfort zone. Yet, this comfort zone is what's keeping them from receiving true healing. Because true healing oftentimes comes from really facing your traumas, really facing your pains, and also not just shield yourself away from other pain and trauma and demand those pain and trauma to be compared to your pain trauma and tell you that your pain and trauma is not worth mentioning because I have the greatest pain and trauma. But if that's all we seek, to be those who hold the greatest pain and trauma, how will we ever find the greatest healing for ourselves? So that's why I want to bring up, American exceptionalism. I want to self-reflect upon my own entitlement and also understand, I can walk around the world and police the world and tell them, you must think this way because we Americans do. When America has only been around for 250 years and the rest of the world has been around for millennia. So I would definitely watch this movie, I swear. At first I didn't want to watch it because I felt like it's gonna lift old wounds. Their imagery is gonna be comparative to my own suffering. But as an advocate, embracing traumas, and not to mention how this whole event unfolded into even more ugliness, I felt there's even more reason for me to watch this movie. And I hope you do too, because I hope the imagery of John's suffering draws some reflection upon yourself. Perhaps it's so nasty to see the cruelty of human doing nasty things to one another. May draw some tears from your eyes. And suddenly biology transcends into psychology. Our mind will then be forced into a more of a self-reflection rather than reaction.